This podcast is for the ones who know they were rescued, but also know they were resent. Saved by grace, sent to live different. We're not rebelling against God, we're rebelling against everything that keeps us from Him. We'll talk faith, identity, purpose, leadership, and what it really looks like to follow Jesus in a loud and noisy world. We'll dissect scripture, we'll exposit it, we'll grow, and we'll stretch our faith. Welcome to the Daily Rebel. All right, here we go. Day 4 of the Daily Rebel. Let's dive in. James chapter 2, verse 5 through 7 is where we're going to camp out. Here we go. Listen, my brothers and sisters. Didn't God choose the poor in this world to be rich in faith and heirs of the kingdom that He has promised to those who love Him? Yet you have dishonored the poor. Don't the rich oppress you and drag you into court? Don't they blaspheme the good name that was evoked over you? So check this out. James just rebuked favoritism, and now he exposes how backward it really is. He says, listen, that's not casual. That's urgent. He's saying you've adopted the wrong value system. You're honoring the very people God is not impressed with, and you're dishonoring the very people God has chosen. That's a dangerous really a dangerous reversal. And so what is it that means that God chose? Well, didn't God choose the poor in this world to be rich in faith? This does not mean poverty earns salvation, by the way. A lot of people will take that, make it its own theology. It means God often moves toward the humble, toward the dependent, toward those who know they need Him. And wealth can create this illusion of independence, this kind of like idol that we're always striving after and saying we want more of. See, poverty often exposes dependence, and faith grows best when dependence is real. So then James says, heirs of the kingdom. That's an inheritance language, royal language, future glory language. The people you're seating in the back may be seated in the front of eternity. That changes everything. So let me give y'all 3 things. Number 1, God's measure of rich is different. The world says rich means money, power, access, influence, success. And God says rich means faith, trust, dependence, and love for Him. And you can be financially loaded and spiritually bankrupt. You can be materially poor and eternally wealthy. James is saying you're honoring the wrong scoreboard. Redeemed rebels measure wealth differently. Ask yourself, man, what do I admire most in people? Is it their wealth? Is it their influence? Am I always comparing how much they got compared to me? Is it status or spiritual depth? Would I rather be envied now or rewarded later? So number 1, God's measure of rich is different. Number 2, favoritism dishonors who God honors. You have dishonored the poor. That's what James says. He says the word dishonored means really, it means devalued, reduced. That's what shamed means. And so when you show partiality, you are contradicting God's choice. Imagine dishonoring someone God calls heir. That's serious because every believer, regardless of income, is royalty in waiting. And royalty is our positioning because God paid it all at the cross. So look, stop honoring what fades and dishonoring what lasts. So look, treat every believer like future royalty. Speak to the overlooked with dignity and never reduce someone to their circumstances because they might be rich at heart when you're poor in spirit, or really when you're arrogant or haughty. Here's number 3. You're elevating the wrong power. James pushes further. He says, don't the rich oppress you, drag you into court, blaspheme the name over you? Listen, in other words, you're chasing approval from the very system that exploits you. That's misplaced loyalty. James is exposing fear of losing influence, fear of losing opportunity, fear of offending power. Listen, redeemed rebels, we don't bow to power structures. We bow to Jesus. He is first and foremost the head, the ruler, the reigner, if that's even a word. He is the redeemer. He's the ultimate, undefeated, unmatched, undeniable, unstoppable king. And Christ does not evaluate by net worth, because when you die, your body's going to become dust. Your soul's going to go to heaven, and you can't take none of it with you anyway. Listen, James is asking, whose value system are you operating under? Heaven's? Culture's? God often chooses the overlooked. He raises the humble. He enriches the dependent. And earlier I said, are you poor in spirit? Well, obviously Jesus in Matthew chapter 5 says, if you're blessed are the poor in spirit. And what I'm trying to say is if maybe you're poor in attitude, your joy is not there because maybe your wealth has completely drowned you in assuming that you're something because you have a lot. But listen, those who look small now may shine brightest later. He raises the humble. He enriches the dependent. So here's my question. Are you impressed by what God isn't? Because as redeemed rebels, we don't chase temporary shine. We invest in eternal wealth. And in the kingdom, faith is the real fortune. We'll see you tomorrow as we wrap up the week on The Daily Rebel. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Before you go, if you want to help other people be equipped to be redeemed rebels, give us a follow and share it around with your friends. We'll see you next time.